Hello, good morning, and welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw Doering, and my philosophy is to believe in infinite possibilities. Well, I see we have a lot of people in the chat today. I haven't done a philosophy show in a long time. I've been busy doing another show called Real News Live with Mike Barra, 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the morning. And he is abroad being a famous person today. And so when the cat is away, the mice will play, and we have got a philosophy show. So I'm going to go over the news. And, I can't put it on the screen and all that. So I haven't figured that out yet. But, and then I'm going to take all your questions. So we have a lot going on right now, don't we? So interesting. The pieces of the puzzle that are revealing themselves as of late. We have quite a few things coming together, and several of those we got in what we call gentel, because it's easier saying what I got in meditation. And gentel is usually revealed on Real News Live. Today, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to Beacon of Light Radio. This is my podcast streaming platform, and I also do have a radio station. That's beaconoflightradio.com. During the COVID, we used to have a lot of talk show hosts, and they would talk about all these wonderful topics, all that out there stuff that we love so much. And it was hit pretty hard by COVID, and people really couldn't afford it anymore. But now we're bringing it back up. We're bringing it back up as a podcast platform, and that's why I am streaming here today. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe to Beacon of Light Radio. There will be another show on today. Today is October 14th, 2022. And right after this, at a couple hours from now, Bob Brown does a show called Over the Rainbow, and he interviews hosts Bigfoot, aliens, political celebrities, psychics, any of those out there topics that are really interesting to hear about. And so he interviews a lot of people. So you probably want to pick that up. He is on Wednesday and Fridays at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and I believe it's 8 p.m. in the UK. So I want to welcome everybody this morning. I see you all in chat. Now, if you're coming in from Facebook, we are streaming to Facebook, to our different groups. We have a couple groups over there. We've got Beacon of Light Radio chat group on Facebook, and you will always be notified of the shows if you go and join that. And I also have my group, Free Psychic Readings Beacon of Light, on Facebook, and we're also streaming there when we go live. So good morning, Kenneth, Scott, Lori, Grace, Oski, Wally, Kim, Oregon Farm Girl, Kathy, Slacker Wannabe's here, Nancy, Pamela, Ernest, Sue, Oski, again, Ernest, they're all talking. I know Ron's in there somewhere. Hi, Ron. There he is. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the news. You guys go ahead and comment. There is a little bit of a delay for these to come up on the StreamYard here. But I'll see them coming in from all over. So let's see what we got today, shall we? So I text myself things when I don't have time to write it down. Okay. So little Miss, and I got to be careful because I don't want to get the Beacon of Light Radio YouTube pulled down. So I will try to be careful, but no promises because that usually doesn't work out. All right. So Pelosi. So they still got this January 6th thing going on, right? And from the beginning, I was out there and Mike told me on the show, don't say that. Don't say that Ashley Babbitt didn't really die. And don't say all these things. I'm telling you, that scene from day one looked like a bad soap opera. All right. The whole shooting scene where you see the gun come out from behind there and then all of a sudden she falls. And I mean, I think if we were to analyze that, if somebody actually being shot from that distance, there would be more of a throw her back more. There might be some blood splatter. I mean, it just looked too clean. It just looked too clean to me. So there's that. And then, we had some people that said, oh, yeah, they're going to have this big, wonderful get together in DC at the time. And somebody asked me, well, I was going to go. Do you have any suggestions? I say, stay off the front line. Stay back. And he did. And he, wasn't anywhere near the situation. But so now we've got this January 6th. And all along, I just take a look at things. It's kind of my thing. It took a very complicated concept or topic and make it really simple. I do that in my writing. I do that in my shows. That's kind of my thing. So what's going on here is the impeachment's failed. Everything failed. So they got to have something else to hold against him, right? They got to have something else basically to hold him back. There's always something to hold him back. And you know who we're talking about. Mr. T. So I told you a long time ago, Pelosi and the Sergeant at Arms were very involved in planning this entire thing. Now, I also did see Pelosi being, a long time ago, I don't know if it was a year or two ago, I saw Pelosi being arrested on the House floor and being with handcuffs being walked out. Now, I don't know if that's something we're going to see in the future or if that's something that already happened. But the information I got on her over time was that she's like the slipperiest of snakes. And will do anything for self-preservation. And so I believe that they did arrest her. I believe they told her, you're going to play ball. and you're not going to tell anybody about it. So she's like this double agent the whole time, right? So I believe she planned the whole thing. And we might see, because of current events, a lot more coming out about that now. And it's interesting. Mike was asking me on the other show a while back, he had heard that there was a place at Walter Reed Hospital being prepared for someone. And then Phil came out this week. Mike was talking about that, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. And I said, well, it's Patrick Leahy. And we went through, the line of what is it, procession or whatever. And I said, no, it's not Biden. It's Leahy. And what do we see in the news now? Leahy was admitted to the hospital. Okay. And then we see, this is even better. Then after that, I see on Twitter this post about Pelosi's. Okay, so all of a sudden, there's this video of Pelosi talking at January 6th about Trump. Well, I hope he shows up. I'll punch him in the face. And I'll be happy and I'll go to jail. And, and here's what stuck out to me. As a mom, you sit there and you listen to these kids, and then you got all these kids four kids stand in front of you, and they're telling you, oh, no, I didn't do this, and I didn't do that, and so did it, and blah, 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 and you listen. You're like, all right, you're going to slip up somewhere, and I'm going to find out who did this, right? So she says, I'm going to do that, something about, I don't remember the exact words, but for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. Now, on January 6th, when this happened, Trump was still president. Until you inaugurate the other one, he's still president. Why would the president of the United States not be able to walk on or enter the Capitol building? Why would that be considered trespassing? That's a little tidbit you guys need to look into to put the pieces together. That's another puzzle piece. Now, when I was looking at all the video footage, and some of it came from people, some of it came from security surveillance that we've seen from January 6th and all that. I have not been following the trial because I just don't have time for that. All right. It's like we watch these videos, and I keep saying this to people, year after year. You watch the videos of I started with the Humane Society videos with my kids because they would come on TV. I'd have to run in there, turn it off, because everybody starts crying. Oh my God, Mom, grabbing my purse. We got to give, you got to help. We got to get these animals. Oh my gosh, house full of empaths. And then one day it clicked to me. I said, honey, if these animals, I understand, and yes, we should help the animals, and yes, but you can calm down a little bit about this commercial, because the animals that you see on there were filmed by the Humane Society, and they have been saved. And so, they're all alone, and they're in this cage, and we have to help them and everything. And so it's just kind of clued in, and we watch all these videos, and I'm like, who's standing there filming that? And then I see these videos of world events where they just happen to be filming exactly when the bomb goes off. They just happen to be filming exactly when she was shot. They just have to be, take a look at that. Take a look at the angles. Take a look at the way. And that whole Ashley Babbitt thing really looked like some film crew had just the right angles at just the right time. This one over here and that one over there. Then we get this video that comes out now of Pelosi saying she's going to punch Trump in the face. First of all, good luck with that. Anyway. Oh, God, I can't stand her. But there's a lot going on with this Pelosi situation that we're not aware of. And so now they're dripping out that, Pelosi had her daughter's whatever or somebody said it was an HBO film, filming a documentary on her at January 6th. Why would that be if she didn't know it was coming? Why have film crews there? Right? So it's like we get so caught up in the narrative, we get so caught up in what's being presented to us that we don't take a step back, like I always say, and ask some questions. It's like, okay, and if you knew that you were on film, why would you say that? Someone who's been in politics all this time doesn't just slip up like that, especially when you're on film. Maybe in a back room or in a hallway with an associate when you don't think anybody's looking, but not like that. This is scripted. This is, and people should say, oh, it's all a big movie. And I'm like, well, I don't understand that, because people are having, you got real life consequences going on here with all these things. I don't see why that's a movie. Well, a movie can be scripted and play out, and every scene and every word and every action happens exactly when it's supposed to. Okay? You can have mishaps, you can have ad lib, you can have a lot of things that they will allow happen, but usually a movie's pretty scripted. And so even though the person on the screen, the stuntman, is supposed to be knocked down in this scene, does he still get knocked down? Yeah. Did it hurt? Probably. Are the people, or did, the horse get shot? Did that horse really get shot? Not really. No. But was the horse really there? Did they really film it getting, fake shot? Yeah. Were the people watching affected emotionally by the horse being shot? Yeah. So I believe that this movie reminds me of one of those books that we used to read when I was much younger, and you had the alternate endings. So you read it, or like the Clue movie. That's one of my favorite stupid spoof movies, Clue, from a long time ago. And then, or this could have happened, or this could have happened. And so I think there are many routes once you get to a certain point, just in case there were people outside of the script that were ad-libbing. And then we go around those. But that whole January 6th thing was scripted. I mean, she knew about it. She was involved in it. I don't know if they told her to do it. But we'll see how that turns out, because she is in line for the presidency should something happen to the village idiot. All right. Now, here we are with this coming out about her. And then we also have the Patrick Leahy. So it goes village idiot. Then we've got Harris. And then we've got Demon Spawn, Pelosi. And then we've got Leahy. Then Grassley. And what I tell you about Grassley, I saw Grassley a long time ago standing up, the way he talks, like your grandpa, or like a grandpa in the 70s. When you're little, well, I was a little tiny kid, late 70s. So, but I remember my grandpa would talk like that. All right. This is what's going on. This is what's happened. This is what we're going to do. Very no nonsense. And I always saw Grassley coming out, standing at a podium. He's got people behind him. These people are from the Treasury. And then there was military there. I felt like our announcement for Nasara Jassara would come from the Treasury Secretary, officially. Now we're seeing a lot of things lining up with that. We're seeing everything escalate. Last Monday, I was talking about the economy is crashing, and from my meditations, and you will see drastic measures to save the system. Today, our very knowledgeable guy in my chat, Mr. Chris, Batman, we call him. He said it'll be a minor miracle if the trades manage to cover their positions by the end of the day Friday. Could be a trigger that creates a cascading effect through the financial markets. Now, I was talking about this snowball coming down the hill on Monday with this. Now, I asked Gabriel about the financial markets today, just briefly. Archangel Gabriel. Talk to angels if you're new. He said, yes, there will be attempts today to save the markets, but they will fail. So even if they succeed for a day, that's about it. It's coming down right now. They've let it go too far. It's too big. They don't have their big war that they wanted, and they can't stop it. They can only delay. So that's where we are financially. But this Patrick Leahy thing, let's get back to that. All right. So what does it tell you? And it's interesting. People are asking me, well, Phil came out and did it live. We all watch Phil. And he said there's something big coming at the end of the week. I don't know if it's a Patrick Leahy thing, but I was asking Gabriel. And I could be wrong because I don't usually, find out when people die. But I think it just did. I think it just did. I could be wrong. Or he will. And of course, disclaimer, doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm a psychic lady. You can totally discredit everything that I say. I'll hide behind that. So anyway, so now we're hearing about Leahy. And then we have bad news about Pelosi. What are we going to hear about Harris and the village idiot? I'm excited. I'm like excited. I woke up with this, which doesn't happen very often because I am not a morning person, tell you what. I mean, it takes me like an hour or two to realize where I'm at, what day it is. And I woke up just like, bing, this is a good time. I'm having a good day. This is great. So I'm excited about what's coming. There is so much news out there. Let me scroll down here. Jeez. Okay, so Leahy's in the news. Leahy's in the hospital. Mike got intel on that a long time ago. We found, and he asked me, so there's a Gentel confirm. The snowball rolling down the hill with economy is a Gentel confirm. The Pelosi was in charge of the January 6th thing. You'll find that out. And that she's going to get it is a confirm. And I'm feeling good. I'm getting lots of confirms today. I don't know what's happened in the last couple hours, but I'd stay glued to social media and I don't know if we'll hear anything good on the news, but let's talk about that. So it just gets better. It just gets better and better. So I was talking about, I think it was Wednesday. I was all pissed off about all this crap about Ukraine and everything. And we found, and I'm like, what's holding this whole thing up with the financial? What's holding it up? And I told you guys that I was told by the angels that all this money going to Ukraine, do you think it's just coming from us? Why is it so important to send so much money to the Ukraine? Because it was the demon's lair pretty much for the cabal, and they were funneling money through there, but not only through there, but hiding it there. And so since we took their money in all the other places and they are broke, what do? We got to have a situation, don't we? We got to have a war so that we can funnel money, so we can rebuild. So what are they doing? They were taking money from the U.S. They were taking money from donations. They were taking money from other countries. They were taking money from all over the place, turning it in to gold and silver, to metals, Gabriel said, and stockpiling it there. Then we see explosions in Ukraine. Imagine that. And then I watched, I think it was a Mark Z yesterday while I was cleaning the house and doing stuff. And he had a guy on who has been in the metals business for 30 years. And he was talking about I'm not good at this stuff, but somebody's been stockpiling gold or buying and silver, large quantities, and they're having trouble getting it. Like, really, who would do that? Let's think about that. Who would do that? So then you got Zelensky, and I always had problems with Zelensky. I'm like, why is this dude always wearing the same shirt? I mean, this is the leader of a country. He doesn't have any more clothes. He's always in the same clothing. And then I was talking on Wednesday about the CGI thing. I'm like, this is like, when he dragged the little like school desk out into the street to sign some kind of papers, and it was on. I'm like, why would you do that? Why are you in the street again? Why are you always in the street? It's just totally fake. This guy, totally fake. So now he's and then he was on Tucker Carlson, and in so many words, Tucker was basically like, he's like begging for money again, demanding it, and it's like, pretty sure you got enough money, dude. And no, and Tucker was like, well, we need money here. Okay, so the deep state is stockpiling gold and silver in Ukraine under the protection of war. They used to be able to do it behind the scenes. They used to be able to do it underground. They used to be doing all these places, and the white hats have pretty much taken out all their money and all their spaces. So they had to create a new space. This is new money. And that's what you're seeing happen with gold and silver right now. Okay? And that's the delay. We have to bankrupt them, and we cannot bankrupt them and crash everything to move over to a new system if they have another stockpile to live on, to come back with. That's the importance of with all this money going to Ukraine. They're slipping it in here and they're slipping it in there. Meanwhile, it's the Great Depression in California and all these other places where you got tent cities. Everybody's like, oh, look at that. Yeah, let's go back to our list. Unless you live there and witness it and you're around. I mean, what I was saying on Telegram chat the other day. If you want to join us on Telegram chat, we're having a wonderful time. I'm Fallawsophy, Fallawsophy, and Philosophy Chat Group on Telegram. So I was seeing every so often somebody puts up some videos of the Bay Area, California, and what's happening there. And then we see in certain parts of the country, this is a serious problem. Oh, this is homeless people. No, this is another Great Depression. Do you remember the black and white pictures in the history books, and I'm sure they didn't come out. I'm sure the public wasn't aware of it at the time, the severity of everything. The pictures of people in food lines, the picture of people living in shacks. And when you put out black and white pictures, it's not as real. It's not really as real. And then they color the black and white pictures, you're like, oh, or the films, and you're like, oh, wow, that's real. Wow. Because the black and white really just, it seems like so far away. You know? The same thing. There were people during the Great Depression that still had houses. There were people that still ate. There were people that still did well. But there were large pockets of the country that looked like that. In today's day and age, the homeless, they accumulate more stuff, more trash, more everything. But that's where we're at. And I do not see it going much further. Yeah, Dust Bowl days. But if you take a look at the way the Dust Bowl was, it was, draw a circle in a certain area in the middle of the United States, and there it was. And that's when everybody went to California, right? That's when everybody, I think that's when my grandparents came down from Minnesota. Everybody started going to California. And it was a good place to be. But you've got the same situations going on just in modern day right now. And they say, oh, I think we're in a recession. Do you? Do you think so? Because what I see is a massive depression. I got to buy like 3 times food because my kids are grocery shopping at my house. I don't know how I would have survived, widowed with 2 children, if this was back like I was back then, if this was the case now. Well, I got family and stuff, but I didn't ask them for anything because I'm a little bit stubborn. But yeah, we got a depression going on. And then so Tucker's calling it out, and he's saying, why are we sending the Zelensky guy all this money if we've got this going on in our own country? And then people say, oh, the gas price and all the groceries and all this stuff. No, we're not seeing that homeless problem is being added to every day. And I'm sure that if you looked hard enough, you could catch some photos of those lines for people waiting for a meal. That's where we are. And then they got to have some huge war to try to cover it all up. They've been trying. I got a long time ago. And I felt that one. I'm sticking with it. It could be wrong. Everything I say could be wrong. I have no problem with that. All right. You got to get thick skin as a psychic, and you got to do that. A psychic's not a accurate term for me. Prophet would be better because I talk to God, Jesus, and the angels. But I don't like the ego that goes along with that. So I just, I don't really like titles. But a long time ago, I got on the air when asked, Joe Biden will be removed for trying to start a world war. Now you got all kinds of things coming out. We got a basket of things we can remove that guy for. How do you remove him? Do you want to go through a long process of impeachment while everybody starves to death? And look how long that takes. Anything involving government takes forever. Or do you want to get him on something really big that you can't deny? Okay. And how would you take out his partner? She'd have to be involved in something really big, wouldn't she? So putting 2 and 2 together, I'm thinking we get 2 things coming out. something really big. Then we got something that backs it up. Okay? And that's probably the election. So you either, but I still, it's like all, like what Phil says about the overturning of the election and stuff. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. That would get it out quick. That may be one of the paths, but that's not what I saw. Originally, a long time ago, when after the election, I got that, I was basically talking to God in meditation, and you can do it too. It's called prayer. You should try it sometime. I just have the ability to see things. Okay. He told me, I said, in what order will the states flip? He said, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, then Georgia, but Georgia's a mess. And I've been repeating that all this time. So here we are today. And Trump, this whole January 6th ridiculous mess, show, crap. Let me find my notes. Hang on. So, oh my God, there's so much to talk about. Then we'll get to questions, I promise. So he's subpoenaed, okay? I think he was subpoenaed. I've been busy with so much, and I'm just getting in, grabbing a few bits and pieces of information. So nothing that I say here is exact, okay? But who cares, right? So Trump was subpoenaed to appear before the select committee. I originally got, when asked about this a couple days ago, that he would not do it. And then he puts out a statement about it all. And the statement itself is so long. And I saw it this morning, and I was trying to read it really fast, but I had to get ready and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I scan the thing, which I do a lot of times. I'll just information. What it looks like to me is another piece of paper that will go all over the place, and everyone will see it, stating election fraud. And what states did he list? I believe, you can let me know if I'm incorrect, but I believe it was Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, and Georgia. So that's interesting. So it's almost like everything is coming out. So you try to put this, so you try to put this puzzle together as patriots all this time, right? I don't understand anything. Is this here? We got a little piece here, and this. I don't even know what this is a picture of. Because the kid came in and knocked the whole box on the floor, right? And like half of it was under the couch. And then so now it's almost like, you've got this little kid who keeps coming over with this other puzzle piece. And like, here you go, mommy. Here you go, mommy. Here you go. Oh, yeah. This is starting to make sense now. This is starting to make sense. And then she comes over and just dumps a whole, handful of them. And like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can totally see that this is a cat, So, I'm feeling good, and I'm very positive, and I think that it's all coming together, and there's absolutely no reason why any of you should not be happy today. I'm just going to say that right now. It feels like Christmas. It just feels like Christmas to me. Okay? Christmas is coming. Then we've got Biden. So Biden comes out yesterday, like, village idiot. And I keep saying that because I think it's funny. I do think it's funny. You got to laugh. All right. And it's very important. If you take a look over time, they've taken the comedy out, haven't they? And it used to be so many comedy movies. There used to be so many comedians. And it was just like, when I was growing up, I mean, and I know, don't get me started on Bill Cosby. When I was growing up, that was a hard one for me when with Bill Cosby, but my dad had this record. He had records, and he'd play the funny Bill Cosby records, and we'd laugh. And my dad was hilarious. My mom was hilarious. Everybody in the family's funny. And that's how their parents got through the time of the Depression. And if you take a look at the movies and things like that come out during bad times in history, it used to be that you would have love stories and you would have comedies and you'd have all this stuff to take people's minds off of the situation to build them up. Now, this time in history, we've got the exact opposite. I've stopped watching TV. It just pisses me off. Because now, as I've evolved spiritually, it's not like I'm anywhere above anybody else. Don't get that. That's not how it works. But I've become more aware of things. It's all dark and negative and tragic. And any comedy that you see out there is dark comedy or at the expense of others. And it's almost got a sick twist to everything. You notice that? I don't even watch Netflix anymore. I mean, that thing's got demons running all through it. I just can't even handle it. And I tried. I was like, okay, there's nothing to do. Let's go watch. Let's get into like something on Netflix. I can watch 100 episodes or something. I just can't do it. If it's not based like back in like, medieval times or something like that, I just can't watch the new stuff. And, and I don't know if I'm old. Still in my 40s. All right. I'm not 50s yet. But I can't listen to music either because I can feel it behind there. So the objective that used to be, let's keep the public up, let's keep them moving. And it probably was because so that we can do all this terrible stuff behind the scenes and they don't notice. But now we've got an escalation that came to a point in society where they want you down. Do you know why? Everything you watch, and we wonder why this society is so, or this generation is so sensitive. That's because they're bombarded with disaster and tragedy and fear and pain and sick stuff. And we talk about the older generations where they had more integrity and they were real men and they were all this stuff. And you just take a look at what people were viewing and listening to and hearing. And you will see the product of that in that generation. So you think about what they're doing now. And I've told people, and a lot of people that come to me that work in the film industry and writers and things like that, there will be a wave of new production companies coming. There will be good films, and it's not like it's all going to be Christian films. No, it's going to be films without subliminal messages. It's going to be films that don't say, well, that's too positive, throw in the depression. They want you to be depressed, but this is going to all change in the years to come. But right now, I saw it coming. That's why I wrote my children's book back in a while ago. And through fanciful fiction, it teaches children to find their light within and cast out the shadows and to move forward in a positive direction. Because I saw it coming. I saw the change that I had children. I saw the change in their books, in their movies, in their everything. It was an escalation of, hey, why don't you be sick and weird and depressed and anxious? And everybody's got anxiety, and be afraid, and there's no hope. And let's keep that vibration way down. And why would we want to keep that vibration way down? Because the bad guys had a plan. And it wasn't just the Green New Deal, and it wasn't just world domination. It was world domination with the big bad guy that we hear about coming. The big bad guy, Antichrist. They have the vibration of this dimension stays at a certain level. And you have different dimensions to experience. God has to have places to experience things, but there's a range of vibration for each in order to exist in different places. It has to be. Evil's been trying to corrupt each dimension from down all the way up to the middle where God is, and take it. Evil cannot exist here without a host. And that's why you have these parasites, these attachments, they have to use the minds of men. Evil cannot create something new. And that's why you see over time the recreation of something that already was a sequel. Okay. It wasn't that sequel was so, it's that they don't have anybody new on board with them who can create. Okay. So they have to use human beings. They have to get into your head, that stand next to you, that to possess you. They have to lure you in with money and fame, or threaten you, or use something you love against you, or even you're born in. Okay. But they are spiritual parasites, and they have to dwindle a personal person's energy down in order to stick to them, to get in their head. But if that's why if something is important, I always say God will send it out through many channels, and raise your vibration has been coming for a very long time from very many people. God has many helpers. And that's why they want you depressed. That's why they don't want you happy. They don't want you rich. They don't want you to have any power, because they have to dwindle the combined vibration of this dimension down so far that they can let in the big bad guy without a host. This one is too big for a human body. Not physically big. If you put that much negative energy possessed into a human body, it would melt. Okay, it could not. But then again, maybe that's why they have robots. So, but that would be too limited for this kind of thing. I think it just walks right in, right? And that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. Stupid. So, didn't work. You know why? Because this time around, they had the whole 17th movement, didn't they? And it gave hope. It gave promise. It informed. But the underlying wonderful thing that it did, that it put a big amount of people into the population saying, now wait a minute, don't panic, now wait a minute, something's coming, don't wait, don't wait. And then those people are getting frustrated because they're like, okay, any day now. But what it's done, because it's taken so long, is it's taught people not to give up. It's taught them to get used to hanging in there, to being the voice, the positive voice, even though we bitch and we complain and people tell us crazy and they do all these things, they don't understand yet And right now we're seeing everything snowball in a big way. And they will understand soon. They're not going to, no one's going to get the whole story. Maybe years and years and years till you get that whole story. And still then you will not. Because certain things, sometimes good guys have to go down in the trenches and do bad things to make good things happen. And they're not going to admit to that. But I'm just going on and on like I always do. But my point here is that they lie to you. They manipulate you. They do it through music, through movies. And their number one goal in the whole thing is to let in the Antichrist, really. And they can't do it. And I asked Gabriel about it, and he said, they can't do it anymore because of us and because of the faithful and because within that 17 movement, it stuck out to me from the very beginning when somebody told me about it. Or actually, it was before that because I didn't really know about it for a long time. But we went for so long with them removing God from the schools, from government, from everything, and God was so boring, and church was boring, and that you're square, and that's no, just like to be religious and to believe in God and to say anything about it. Oh my God, what if somebody doesn't believe in God? You're being, be politically correct, and it's like screw that. I don't give a crap. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna speak my truth. And I love God. And I'm going to say God. And I am not going to stop. And there's so many people who have been doing that. And what does that do? It raises the vibration of the entire dimension. And they can't fight it. And what happens to people a lot of times? They counted on us being stupid and weak and unfaithful. And at the very core, sinners. They tell you that. That's the part of the crap of the way the Bible and things have been manipulated by man. They call you sinners from birth. I don't know if you've ever held a baby, but that's an absolute lie. And they assumed all they had to do is manipulate. And all these sinners and all these weak ones, they will just submit to our will because they have no faith because we've taken it from them. But when you back somebody into a corner, their true nature comes out. And I have been there. Physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And I always come out swinging. And a lot of people have been backed into a corner. And they said, I'm not giving up on God, and I'm not giving up on love, and I'm not giving up on my family, and I'm not going down. All right? And that raised the vibration of the entire, even though we're in a place where there's a lot of the population where it's pretty low. Right now, the best thing that you can do for the people around you is not educate them on everything that's going on. They'll ask you when they want to know. The best thing you can do is insert the joy. What did people in the old days do when they got snowed in for the winter? They played cards, they sat around and laughed. What did they do when they went through the Depression or a war? They went out and watched movies. They did stupid things. They just, any reason to be happy or laugh. My Nana lived to be 100 and a half years old. And do you know why? Because she let things roll off her back. And she was taught to do that a long time ago. And she had been through some things. But every time you see that woman, she'd walk up to you, she'd squeeze your hand. Oh, hi, Jenny. Just always so, and you just sit down and talk to her about something. Oh, Nana, this and that, and this and that, and I don't know what I'm going to do, and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, well, everything's going to be okay. Let's make some cookies. You know, and that's why I'm fat. So, but like, people talk to the old people. They know how to get you there. They know what they had to do. And what we need to do right now is be the happy one. Any reason, you know, I used to do, I'm just little things here and there, smile at somebody, make a joke, do something stupid. I think random and stupid is funny. Sarcastic as well. But like what I used to do with the kids, when everybody was just, you know, in a funk, oh, blah, 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 I would just like, I would do something random that was so stupid and weird that we all laugh. Or I just start making myself laugh out loud. And they look at me like, they start laughing too. And then we all do it. And then everybody's up. And everybody feels better. You know, how does your body feel when you're in love? Amazing. Why? Because your vibration's up. You're being fed with the high vibration of love and joy and laughter. And that is what you're made of. And that is what heals you. And that's what we need to insert right now, because we're going into a rough time. The rest of us are going to be like, woohoo, it's Christmas. And everybody else is going to be like, oh my God, the sky is falling. So we got to really be spiritual warriors as well. And if you think you're on a journey of truth, you cannot be on a journey of truth and not find your way back to God. You know why? Because it's the ultimate truth. All right. God, I know how I do that. I just had one thing to say and I go off on a tangent. All right. So Biden says if the Republicans gain control of the Congress, they'll end the savings on your utility bills. If they regain control of the Congress and they win, inflation is going to get worse. And I'm like, translation, if they win, we're going to starve you to death. You know, it's like, and they think we're so stupid. They think we're so stupid. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he said it. You know, and if anybody's that stupid, just go sit down. All right. We'll take care of things and we'll tell you when it's time to come in. All right. People forget to go over what they know. I've always taken a situation, okay, well, this would know this, and that. So if this is true and that's true, then how is this not true? Well, usually it is. So, then we've got information coming about Ukraine. Bridget Ann Brank on charges of high treason. U.S. Cyber Command discovered she had been delivering enormous amounts of cash directly to Ukrainian officials on behalf of the Biden administration. Really? That's so interesting. I'm just having a great time. Every time I see something like this, I'm like, well, that kind of lines up with Gentle, doesn't it? And you go so long and you don't hear anything and you're like, oh my God. And I'm like, Jesus, Jesus, God, you got to throw me a bone here because I've been telling people all this stuff. I'm not getting the confirmations. Please send confirmations. And then you just can never give up faith. Never give up faith because it comes. It comes. Help comes. Money comes. Oh, and money's coming. Money is coming. In many ways. Trust me. Oh, now get this. get this. All right. And then we'll go to questions. I swear. I talk too much. This is why Mike's always cutting me off. So I was talking to Gabriel about the election coming up. And I originally got that it wasn't going to happen. Phil got that it wasn't going to happen. You know what I saw today? I said, is this election going to happen? There is a path where it begins. And then everything goes black. There is a path for that. There's actually 3 paths we could take right now. But that's what I saw. So, like, remember last time when they started stealing it really good and everything kind of shut down? I think, it's going to be a landslide. The truth is a landslide, of course. But watch this. I think that's what, if it even starts and everything is as planned, don't get discouraged, because I think the whole thing's going to black out right in the middle of it, or something big's going to happen. Either the bad guys are going to black it out, flip the switch, or the good guys will, because it's being stolen again. I always saw the whole EBS scenario after the minions went out into the street, after Trump was reinstated, or word of him. And I saw that it was to stop the retaliation against people, because the bad guys that just like lost their shit. I mean, they just, it's like, we have nothing else. Send out the minions and blow everything, or, mess with all the public, punish them and all that. That's when I saw it, but I could be wrong. I mean, what I saw today was just like a zoop blackout. Right in the middle of it. So be on the lookout for that. All right, so that's what I've got for my take on everything today. So let's get to your questions. If you asked a question earlier, repost, because you guys are, you guys are talkers just like me, and just going on and on in the chat. All right, so I'm going to scroll back a little bit, repost your question, and we'll start from there. Laughter is the best medicine. You're right. Just a lot of comments. Thank you guys for your encouragement. Rosemary Limo says, my friend's husband refers to the Republican Party as a cult. Well, brainwashed people. Listen, you only know what you've been told, what you've learned. Some people are too afraid to step out of the box. You know why? Because they've been taught never to be wrong. And some people have experienced times in such severe backlash or loss from being wrong that they go with the flow. They go with the popular opinion. And stepping out of that box in their circles, the backlash would be so severe that they don't even try. And that's human nature. Think about how things were in high school. The cliques, the fads. And I'm going to tell you something about coconut oil, all right? This has been bothering me for a while, and then we'll get to questions, I promise. Whenever they want to sell a product, they tell you it's good for you. Okay? Now, olive oil is good for you. The molecular structure actually breaks up the stuff in your arteries, okay? Coconut oil is as hard as a rock at room temperature, like bacon grease, okay? Stop eating it. All of a sudden, we got coconut oil every the frick where. Why? I don't know, but somebody tapped into a new product and wants to get rich off of it. It's okay to put on your skin. It's okay to put in your hair. It's okay to have it in lotion. But if you're eating large amounts of coconut oil, stop it. All right. I'm talking about the hard coconut oil. All right. All right. Oh, that's an interesting question. Let's do that. Where the hell did it go? Jen is a marigold. Jen, or Gould. I heard celebrating Christmas with trees, wreaths, etc. are of the dark side. How does Jesus feel about that? That's just actually a German tradition, the Tannenbaum, to bring, they used to decorate a tree, and that somehow they decided to bring trees in the houses. I always thought that was strange when I was a kid. I'm like, why do we have a tree in the house? And then it turned into, and it's just people decorating. I don't think that, let me ask him. Not in the least. It's not evil in the least. No. It's just like a fad. It's just like, people wearing certain clothing, decorating a certain colors, things like that. But this is a tradition from a certain culture that caught on. All right. If this goes our way and Trump's reinstated, how long will it take for our country to get back in line? There'll be a certain amount of things done very quickly. And then what I always saw, like I told you, we're going to have these phases of cleanup and change. They're going to focus on one of them is the medical, pharma, insurance, just every aspect of our life, and things that we pay into and things that we use, and everything is going to be it's going to be cleaned out, and that's going to take some time. Okay, but we will gradually, what we're looking for is initial flip. Then we'll have some big changes in the beginning to get us back to a comfortable place. Okay, everybody's good. All right, let's start going through everything with a fine-tooth comb now and make the changes that we really need to make for the future. Okay. Thank you, Wally. I love you too. Yes, I know everybody's in a bad place financially. I just, and I hear so much from people talking on individual readings, and I'm praying while these people are telling me their stories. And I'm like, God, just please help these people. Just do it now. Peter the gunsmith. Am I going to lose my house to taxes? No. Peter. Be pleasantly surprised. Iraq has a new president. Where are we now? First, I heard in limbo with Iraq. As far as Iraq is concerned, they already have a rate. I told you that a while ago. They've all been in limbo. They're all waiting on something. And I really think that all this money and all the metals that precious metals, I'll say, that the Ukraine and that the cabal has been depositing in Ukraine to save their ass has something to do with it. So I don't know. Putin was charged with going in and getting it. So originally Putin was charged with, okay, I told you before, the reason why Donald Trump says that he always says, and everybody's confused, well, this never would have happened if I was in office with Ukraine. Putin never would have done that. You know why Putin never would have done it? Because he was supposed to do it. If he was elected, he would have done it quietly. He would have done it behind the scenes. He would have done it with our military. But because they stole the election, the World Alliance said, Putin, you're up to bat, man. You're going to have to be the bad guy, and you're going to have to go in there and clean it out. And he's like, I live for that. I am on board, and I will do that. And so then they found out, okay, now this whole Ukraine thing, they're sending them all kinds of money from all over the world, and the cabal's stockpiling again. Go get it. I said, it's just like, Putin loves this, man. That's the only thing I'm getting from him is he has been born and raised and bred in some kind of you talk about the bad secret societies. He's in like a religious secret society. Like, this is your life mission, and someday you will save, the world from the Nazis and the evil ones. And he's just like, I am loving this. And that's what he's doing. Which will allow me to fully retire, dinar or silver? It's like, I really can't tell you that so that you can buy either one. But I believe the payout on the dinar comes first. And I am not a financial advisor and do not buy gold or silver or foreign currencies or anything because of what I say. Again, I'm a psychic lady. You can disregard everything that I say. So, but what I always saw with the silver thing, okay, we get this initial rise. Goes up to $60 is what I saw. And then some people cash in and some people wait. And then it goes up a lot more. Okay. So, if you're in a bad spot, it will go up and you can use that. Maybe do half, But then I do think it goes up again. Hi, Dave. I love you, Dave. I tell Mike I miss him already. I heard he's complaining on the plane. Mike Bear had to fly a 10-hour flight abroad. And he's like, this sucks and that sucks, and there's no Wi-Fi and the food sucks. And it's like, dude, bring snacks. I mean, he's not a mom. He doesn't know. Okay. Let's see. Questions, people. Questions. I got just a few minutes. Jen, are we living in a simulation or deeply flowed copy of an original perfect reality, aka heaven, where in the matrix to be formed by demons for loosh? Why does God allow this? I don't embrace the concept that nothing is real. My understanding of things is that everything is real somewhere. And if you think about the enormous love and freedom that is given to you and extended to you by God as a separation of self, you are a separation of self of God because he was all-knowing. In order to be truly all-knowing, you would have to experience everything that there could possibly be to experience. In order to do that, you have to create areas to do that. There has to be separations of self, and then separations of that self. So you got your first separation from God, and then that separation, which is you, separates in many ways and goes off into existence. You can only exist in one dimension, one vibrational spectrum or state at once. And so in order for souls to exist and experiences in new places, there had to be different vibrational states in which to do that. And those are called dimensions. And within that dimension, you are creating your experience. And every time something is created, thought is creation. That's why it's so important to monitor your thoughts. Because somewhere between the subconscious, probably the real you, and the conscious mind, which is the programmed, there's positive creation going on and negative creation going on in both of those. And you end up with the product of that. So that's why positive thought is so important. That's why see it, be it, believe it. So within those dimensions, every time there's thought, there's possibility for the opposite thought. And so you have alternate realities. And it goes on and on and on. And that is why everything is endless. And so you don't just have one life here. What's meant about one life was your eternal life without end. And that's why any concept that limits the area of God's experience and creation should be questioned. That's how I'm going to answer that. So no, everything is real. Even the bad stuff. No. Are dimensions in according with your moods? When you're happy, you're in a higher dimension, and when you're sad, no. We exist right now, right here, looking at our eyeballs right now, what we're looking at in the dimension we think we're in. That is one separation of self. You can either be a miserable mess and your body can deteriorate within that dimension, have a terrible experience. That is your choice. That's universal law. Do you know why they will not interfere with your free will? The angels, God, Jesus? Because it's God's free will as a separation of self. And they understand that, and they do not, they don't get in the way. If it is your will to do better and to heal and to live well, they will assist you in doing so. They will guide you in the direction that you need to go. But being at a higher vibrational state doesn't lift you out of this dimension. It gives you a better experience within it. And then your example helps other pieces of God remember who they are. And the higher that vibration gets within a spectrum, you can raise up within a spectrum to exist here. The higher that gets, the more you remember about who you really are. Okay? So that's why it's important. And there is so much love. That's one thing I don't like about some of the ideas of spiritualism, metaphysical, because it takes all the love out of everything, doesn't it? And the love is the ultimate truth, because love is the highest of vibrations. And you know that. You know that in your soul. And when you have something of such high vibration, you cannot not create something. So I could go on for days on that topic, but let's keep going. David wants to know, Are sex dreams caused by evil forces? I don't know everything, okay, Dave, but sex dreams be caused by a lot of things. You can be attacked psychically in your dreams. Just like we create this dimension to live what we think physically. Just a little tidbit to carry with you. Whatever dimension you're standing in is physical to you. Depends on your perspective. So sex dreams can be, you could have to pee and feel some kind of like stirring, and then think about, the way dreams are created is that one thought creates immediately. Cremates, because your body is asleep, okay? And you don't have to worry about that. Just enough to keep it alive. You're aware of it. But the whole thought process creates a scene immediately. That's also how you see mind's eye. People are like, well, I can't see psych. Like, well, do you dream? Because you're doing it then. Can you remember anything? So I think that sometimes you can have a bad dream. They will prey on your weaknesses in bad dreams. They will get into your mind. They will find your worst fear or what you want the most, and they will use that to get their hooks into you. Sometimes sex dreams are just dumping of stuff. Sometimes you're going through hormonal changes and you just all of a sudden you're just like, what the hell was that? It just depends. It would depend on the dream. Ron, I'm not saying that wrong. Okay. Well, my daughter Madison is from Kim. My daughter Madison's damn it, it's moving. I don't know how to do that. My daughter Madison's boyfriend Ethan deployment to Middle East get reversed, where he can come home. He's still at Fort Bragg. Yes. Which usually if you're going to be deployed, you're going to be deployed. But yeah. I don't know if he gets there and then they send him back. Something happens with that. Well, I went too long, guys, and I got to get off now. I'm sorry. I will do this more often, okay? I will just come on here and I'll stop talking so much. No promises. But I will answer more questions. And I'll do it on a day like a Tuesday or a Thursday when I have more time, because Bob Brown's got his show soon and my producer needs to get on this platform and start working on that. But, I want to thank you all for being here today. I just love all you guys. Go to jenniferfallaw.com because things are slow and Mama has to pay taxes today. Okay? That would be nice. Any little tidbits would be nice. Buy my stuff. Schedule a talk with me. Get a healing. Do something. And let's see, what else do we know? I think we're not on Monday because Mike is out of town. And I think I'm going to take the day off. And because I got Katie's birthday coming up the next Saturday after that. And there's a lot of things I have to do. So I love you guys. I just love talking to you. And if anybody ever wants me to come on and talk about, just rattle on for 3 hours, I will. I'll do it. But we got to talk about spiritual things because that's my favorite thing. Okay. Well, you guys have a wonderful Friday. It's Friday, and I love Friday. It's just funny. So around 3-4 p.m. on Friday, I go brain dead. And then people ask, people ask me, what do you want to do? I don't know. Just leave me there, man. Just put me in the car and drive. And that's what, can't answer any more questions this week. But everybody have a lovely weekend. I will see you over on Fallawsophy on Telegram. Please do me a favor. Show up for Bob's show. Give him love. Ask him questions. Hit the like button. And that will be on in a half an hour on this channel. So get over here so I can do this correctly. Thank you all for watching. And hang on. I'm not ready. Not ready yet. All right. Have a great weekend. Bye.